When I started my path of ascension, I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew was I was tired of living a lie. I was tired of being who I'm not, because I started seeing that you know, I was just hiding. I would tell a lie because I just, wanted to survive. I will. I'm actually doing a course that isn't natural to me. Like, chemistry is not natural to me. Biology isn't natural to me. I have to really cram that. But singing is natural to me. Writing is natural to me. Talking is very natural to me. Right? Then I had to deeply go into myself on a very profound level, where I began to question why I was doing things against myself. One of the reasons why I say self-awareness isn't as it's not enough is because if self-awareness was really enough, if just being aware of yourself and aware of the things you do was simply enough, if that was the only thing, most people would have reached certain heights. And because I'm a woman, I'm not taken as seriously about the things that I say. I'm a woman, first of all, and I'm very young. Doesn't make me less brilliant or less intelligent. And it doesn't make it that I don't know what I'm talking about, because what I'm talking about is actually a lived experience. I remember the moment I decided to actually take that step to owning my life, to stepping into what I don't know for the very first time fully. Because when you take the path of ascension, the path to evolve past this whole program, past the rules, evolve into a woman, and not all women are capable of these things, because you are going to step into what you don't know and figure out the truth in it. The truth comes from within you, right? So when you take that step and that path to knowing these things, you will lose the identity that you've built on, the identity that you've used to survive in the world, the identity of being a good person, the identity of keeping the peace, the identity of, being ego driven and seeking validation outside of yourself just because you want to feel comfortable in that moment, the identity of not working. Yeah, that's also part of it. Not working because you want somebody else to take care of it. That's most women reality. That's most women dream. And this is one of the reasons why I say my content is not for everyone. It's not like you don't have things with men or do things with men, but you understand why you are there. You understand the reason why you are doing things that you are. That's not the center of your life. The center of your life is to evolve into your fullest potential, is to understand why you didn't take the path of your purpose, but actually did things in the world to survive. Because right here, if women are creators, and if women are birthing creators, and women are creating and making creations, it has to be, it's direct from source, just like we exist here, which makes it balanced. And that's not the reality of most women, because most women are self-betraying. So I had an issue with my stepdad. I was at his place for my IT, and the issue was I was just so tired of being dependent. And as I work my path every day, I just understand that my life is really unfolding to what I really truly am and what I'm here to do. Right? And I give it its time, I give it its pace. I trust it so much because it has always shown me all the signs that I needed to know. We have a lot of behaviors and responses that we have because of the self-betrayal. And self-betrayal comes from society. Self-betrayal comes from conditioning. Self-betrayal comes from programming. And self-betrayal also exists in the blood. right? That is, there are women that have lived here on this earth that are in our blood who have also self-betrayed, right? Who didn't take their purpose, because this realm also altered their reality of their own truest expression. So they didn't ascend. Humans are not born ascended. Humans are born animals. Humans are born mammals. Humans are born carnal and primal. Humans are not born, as divine beings. You have to really walk the path to be. You have to really take the steps to be, right? So humans are really not born carnal. Humans are not really born ascended. So on my own path, I journal. I have my books. I write a lot. I have like my books that has been I have countless. These are fresh notes. You can see how fresh this is. Fresh notes. And I journal a lot, but I have old books that says I started my journey, over like 2 to 3 books, because I'm always writing. But I can tell you for a fact that to write is not enough. Of course it does things, but it's not enough. There has to be, to ascend, there has to be a rewiring of your internal state of being. And this doesn't happen in self-awareness, because ascension is moving in ladder. It's like you're climbing a ladder. You are passing tests of yourself. You go into the world to be one with the divine, one with God. You return to your goddess self. You return to your ability to attract. You return to your ability to create. You return to your ability to transform. This realm exists as a survivor. And I'm not saying you don't survive. I've done a lot of things to survive in this realm. So I know what it is. But what is really needed in this realm for us is the survival skill and living in our truest self, our truest purpose. And whatever you choose to do in this realm, that choice should come from a place of truth within yourself. It has to. You cannot be a victim as a creator, because you will birth other victims. You will birth the chaos that exists in this world. So on my own path, right? Self-awareness wasn't enough. I didn't just write things and I ascended. I didn't just have a thought before I go to bed at night and ascended. I had an encounter. I saw my self-betrayal on a profound level, and I tear up very deeply. And this path really exists differently for everyone. This is what I know about my own path. The way my illusion shattered, and how I had to accept this shattered illusion and make it a whole glass, and make it a whole new thing, and transform this shattered self, right? There's a reason most people are really highly programmed, and they are unconscious to it. And you as a woman, most likely you are watching me. You've not even started asking yourself, oh, why am I like this? Did anybody tell me to be like this? Where did I pick this from? Why am I really seeking for love? Why do I not exist in it? Self-love is not self-care. You could hate yourself and put a fucking damn makeup on. Self-love is a frequency, is a state of being. And it doesn't always feel good. There are times where I wake up and I feel really ugly. I know I'm a very pretty woman, but I feel really ugly sometimes. Self-love is acceptance. Self-love is truth. Self-love, simply, like, there is no even definition for self-love, to be quite honest. Love doesn't have a definition. It just exists in its truest form. It exists in its truest, rawest form. And the divine is love. Love is not good. Love is not bad. Love is not wrong. Love is not right. Love is. Love simply is. So on my path, I didn't move from a stage, because I've gone through really different illusions of myself. I've gone through decency. I'm a decent woman. I really can't participate in some bullshit. Really can't do this and that. And I had my ego die in it. I've gone through humiliation. I still go through these things because it's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. This is why I say not all women have the capability to work this path. I'm not talking about seeking things outside of yourself. I'm talking about being in the state of these things. I'm talking about being in the state of your fullest capacity as a woman. And I'm not saying other things that people do outside of themselves doesn't work. But you know what hits different is when you just have to exist as a woman and things move absolutely differently. Things shift absolutely differently. So what this experiences does, the ego that's what people call ego death. Ego death is having the illusion that you've built in the world. Illusion of self that is being built in the world. Right? So that you can survive. One of my ego self was my morality. I'm a decent woman. I'm a good woman. I don't participate in, deviances. That was one of my ego. I collapsed to that part of me. Because to be in the divine is to be whole. It's to come as you are. To exist as one with the goddess. We are the extension of the goddess. To exist as one with the goddess, you have to be whole. You have to be your most authentic self. And when you step into that realm, everything that is not authentic about you will die. And if you think you know yourself, if you think you are living in your purpose, if you think you are saying the truth about who you are, Mother Earth doesn't give a fuck. She will shatter it. Because this realm really altered a lot of things. There are women in our blood who has also betrayed themselves, and they're in us as well. Mother Earth will shatter a lot of things. You'll be surprised. While I was ascending on my path, I really never looked at myself like, hey, what? I'm a decent, good human being. I did look at myself initially. I'm tripping on my words. But I did look at myself initially. Now, I know I am capable of this. And what morality is to me, knowing my capability to these things, is that I choose. That's when you become sovereign. That's when you participate in self-governance and you create. I choose when this side of me is to come out. The fact that I know this about me, nobody has a control of this part of me. And if there's any part of me anyone plays a string to, plays a role in, tries to play on, I'm very super attentive. When you are ascending, you become hyper aware. This is why I'm very surprised why women don't have the capacity to actually listen to long videos, because you would actually become very hyper aware. I'm talking of hyper aware, sensitive ears, sensitive to sound, sensitive to feeling, You become very sensitive. And this path is not for everyone. It's majorly the type of women, one of the type of women that I'll pick, or that would have a shift. I might not necessarily pick because Divine Mother would always do her will. But the type of women that would necessarily be on this path are women who have a destiny and a responsibility in this world that went against it. Women who are actually here to exist in their fullest power. Women with full authority inside of them, but they are existing as incompetent people. Most of the time, this type of women struggle in relationships. And the reason why they struggle in relationship heavily, they're not the ones that get pampered in relationship. Not like they don't get care or affection, but it's not like what most women who are in relationship do get. And that's because you are here for a fucking different reason. You are here to exist in your power as a woman. And if that experience comes later, it does, it would, if it doesn't, it wouldn't really matter to you as much because you've taken on the path of your own destiny. I've shifted my message from speaking to women as a collective to speaking to a specific kind of woman. But I understand that, yes, the system is supposed to, women as a collective are supposed to be conscious about how they really are and why they really are who they are and what they really are, what they are here for. And to understand that the complaints is just saying, hey, men, why you are the reason why we are acting like this. Is you saying, oh, men, we are powerless. You control why we act how we act. I don't think you really understand words, because when you are hyper aware, words are fucking very powerful. Words are a different kind of movement. Words are a different kind of breed. And you really, really have to understand that. So I didn't just self-reflect and I said, I broke down, I shattered, I was humiliated. I was so fucking poor on my path. I had deep ego debt and humiliation ritual that people who saw me when I was, thick skin, not fat. I've never been fat, but I had flesh. Saw me when I was a fucking broom. I don't know if YouTube is this sensitive though. But I was seen as a stick of broom because I was suffering. But it was needed, because in my suffering was when I discovered my spiritual powers. It was in my suffering. It was in my suffering that I encountered the power inside of me. Not like I don't I don't participate with nature. I don't, take use of the rain sometimes. Speak to the moon, speak to the clouds, speak to the wind. Not like I don't do these things, but I know that I don't need to. It's a different kind of remembrance. And it's not enough to just know that this exists. You have to master these things. You have to master the unseen. And that's what the suffering does. There is suffering on this path because you are stepping from what you don't know to what you know. And this is one of the reasons why I say it's not for all women. You're going to leave every single thing that ain't true. You're going to, if you've ever loved art and love drawing, you would have to go back to that and leave that job that fucking pays you, because you did it for survival. You chose it for survival. You're moving it for survival. So if you don't want illusion shattered, we're here to exist as what we are. Self-reflection and self-awareness didn't do anything for me. I had to encounter myself. I had to see, damn, I self-betrayed. I've been lying all along. I really have the desire to this thing. I lied. I really like this one, but I lied. Why did I lie? Damn, you would tear up. You would tear up. And when you begin to see these things on a profound level, and you go outside in the world and you see women still act like this, you get very angry. Why are you also participating in this? Get back into your skin. This is one of the reasons that will force you to actually even teach. Because you're like, get back into your fucking self, because there's a lot inside of you. You are hurting womanhood just because you want to get something out of the society. Don't lie. Don't lie. You are seeking for womanhood to validate you, to accept you, just because you want something out of the society. You look forward to controlling womanhood because you want something out of the society, because you know that you want to be chosen in the society. Men know. The collective of women is we are valuable. We are valuable to the system as a collective. But to be in your creative state, to be a creator, to be sovereign, you have to do things from within you, knowing who you are. Wholeness doesn't really feel good because it exists with wrong and right, good and bad. Wholeness exists in the frequency of love. To accept all that you are. I'm talking about absolutely all. I've had men that have expressed certain parts of me too and say, I do want to feel picked. I do want to feel chosen. And they use it against me sometimes. Because I didn't choose you. It's so fucking deliberate. Right? And there are times where I experience being chosen and being picked and being loved. The times, sometimes the Divine Mother gives me ruthless first before she gives me nurture. She's like that sometimes. She first gives me messless lessons before she gives me care and nurture. And I'm down for it. Because there's no rising without a fall. I understand this as a law. So I don't push. I let it be. They think that they're really hurting me, but you're doing. That's why when I see you people complain, man, I'm this, man, I'm that. I don't bloody care because he's doing me a favor. He's participating in certain things about my orchestration. I use every bit of it. To ascend is not simply reflection. It's not simply looking at the world as a mirror. It's an encounter of your self-betrayal.